So a lot of you have asked about schooling recently on the channel. It's funny because many comments on the same topics tend to come all at the same time. And although I'm not an expert at this, I'm a dad myself, I've got 2 boys, only one of them's in school. Obviously, we had to make the decision of what to do about Otis's schooling. And there are a number of options available to you in Thailand. So you can go for the very expensive international schools, which costs a lot of money. And if money's no issue, it's absolutely fine. You won't find one everywhere that you go. Like in this area where we live, there's not an international school for a very long, it's a long drive. It just wouldn't be practical at all. Then you have the private schools, which is what Otis is in, and it's a bit of an intermediate. It has an EP program, an English program, and that one is not expensive really. We pay at the moment around 10 to 15,000 baht per term, depending on which class they're in, which level they're at, and so it's reasonable, and it's 2 terms a year, and that means that they get at least 1 hour of English every day. And the school is a comfortable school. It's got a swimming pool in the school. It's quite a small, cozy little school as well. It's got some great teachers. It's a very nice atmosphere. I think it's a nice intermediate. And then you have government schools, which is a lot of the kids that you see on the farm here. They go to government schools, and in those schools they're free. It's the class sizes are usually quite large, and the rooms are not usually air conditioned, but depending on which one, there's so much variation between them as well. There are some good ones too. How do I know that? Well, I've actually taught in about 4 or 5 different government schools, and I've taught in 1 private school myself. So cumulatively, I've probably spent about 5 years in the schools, and I've also built a private school business in Hue Hin, where we hired teachers from all around the world, and we put them on contracts in different schools, and we taught within the small school that we built. So I have a little bit of an insight into this, and we work quite closely with the MOE. I've actually met the Minister of Education, or who was the Minister of Education back then. And so when deciding, it really is a mix of kind of money, location, convenience, we've kind of looked out with Otis and his school. Now, I did make a comment on a previous vlog that I would allow Otis to drop out of school if his 3D printing business that he's engaged at the moment hits certain revenues, and there was a little bit of a kickback to it. Some people said it's a good idea, but other people said that's a terrible idea. Education, the importance of education, the importance of schooling and socializing and things like that, and I agree to some extent, but there's a bit of a difference between an education and a Thai education, and a Western school and a Thai school. Things are a little bit more behind here. I would say that the kids generally kind of sit in the classroom and just kind of listen to the teacher at the front. It's very old school. And one thing that I'm conscious of as well, there would be a number of stipulations to that offer to Otis. Number one, the revenues would have to be doing say 500,000 baht a month, so they would have to be decent size revenues. It would be on the basis that he'd drop out of school and then he would homeschool, which is legal in Thailand and perfectly okay to do. You have to register, but you can sit the exams, you can still have a path to university, and so it is definitely doable. So you would have to continue homeschooling. And also, I want to make it clear that the reason that I say these things, or I think about this stuff, is because I believe that AI is probably going to wipe out about 70% of jobs in the next 10 years. So by the time Otis graduates, and Hugo's a bit younger, but the same would apply to him. I believe that a lot of the jobs that the kids will be wanting to do or training for may not even exist. So that could be doctors, it could be lawyers, it could be a lot of the factory workers replaced by robots, it could be just so many jobs that are going to be gone. Really, a lot of the outdated thinking of school and education and university and get a career is going to go out the window. And you combine all this with the fact that Thailand, when these people do graduate, they're getting salaries that are very, very limited. As you can see here, maybe they're leaving on 30,000 and 40,000 baht. Whereas I know Thais that work for themselves, and I can attest to, like, doing your own business, you can make substantially more than that. Maybe you can make, you know, even just a small business can do 2 to 3x what a normal salary is for a graduate. So in Thailand, so it's a little bit different when you think of things from the Thai perspective, from my perspective, to where you may be sat in the USA or the UK. Things are a little bit different. The quality of the education may differ to some extent. The opportunities may differ. The amount of money one can earn within the country may differ. Some expats will mitigate this by sending their kids to the USA or another country, and I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do. Your kids get to travel, see the world. If my kids want to do that, they'll have the ability to do it. Preferably, I'd not want to split my family up. My family's been split up by me and my sister leaving me to Thailand. My mother's sister lives in Dubai, and so it's difficult when all your family is kind of split up that way. And as I've mentioned, I am concerned about the coming lack of jobs, and does that then lead to some kind of universal basic income, which requires you to live a certain way or do certain things in order to get that universal income? And isn't it better to kind of be out of that? I also use it as a motivating factor for him to push forward with school, believe it or not, when you offer that kind of thing. Because for me, it was a decision quite early on whether I was going to be an entrepreneur or whether I was going to work for somebody else. And I started off my first business at 16, and then one thing led to another. One failure led to another failure. And then eventually, I had some successes, and I had some more failures. And then I went into corporate, which was on the terms of my contract in corporate, was that I could behave as an entrepreneur, and I could have the freedom to do what I needed to do with my teams internationally, and I was given that freedom by the company. And so that motivating factor for me was very much that I didn't want a 9 to 5, and so I was motivated to kind of not do a 9 to 5, and therefore I better start my own business, and that business better be successful. Oh, you guys get to see an example of the speaker. So this is the village speaker. They're dotted all around the village, and you'll start with like a national anthem in the morning, and then village announcements, things like that. So you've got to see a real life example. I think that's the first time that's happened on the vlog. So yeah, back to what I was explaining. Not having to do a 9 to 5 was important to me. I just didn't want to do it. My dad had worked in a factory all his life, and he kind of just said to me, don't end up like this. So I kind of took that on board. I was like, actually, I want to work for myself. I think it's up for Otis to decide, does he want to continue with the school, and then he dedicates fully to that because he didn't want to do his own business? Or does he actually not want to be in this kind of factory situation, which, some people are quite militant about it. They think it's the best thing for the child, when I actually don't think it's not the best thing for everybody. I think there are different personality types, and some people are kind of more creative than others, and some people like order and routine, and they like to do the same thing again and again. Other people are just different minds, So I like to present all opportunities, and I think I'm in a position where before, when I've done my businesses, I didn't have any investment, and I didn't have anybody to teach me any of these skills. I spend a lot of time teaching Otis these skills. So he knows a lot about spreadsheets, he knows a lot about design, he knows about 3D printing probably more than I do now. So he's the kind of like learning these skills that they don't teach you in school, that are probably the most valuable ones. He knows about having a bank account and managing money, and he learns about things that they just don't teach in schools, that I think are massively important. But then you might say, what about his socialization? Well, he socializes on the farm. There's still kids clubs, there's scouts, there's Muay Thai clubs here. There is the local swimming pool for all the kids can get together there. So there's a lot of opportunity for socialization. There's a good book by Gabor Mate. He says it's called Hold On to Your Kids, and that can give a little bit of insight on actually not letting your child's peers educate them, but educating them yourself as their dad, as their mother, and whatnot. I understand that my views on this are probably a little bit unorthodox and not the status quo, but in a way, the only reason I can live the lifestyle that I live is because I've not followed an orthodox route or the status quo. I came to Thailand very young at 21, and I've been able to stay here long term, and that's because of a lot to do with the businesses that I've done. So a lot of people don't make it, as you know. Like, I've got a lot of friends that came and didn't make it. Some lasted 6 months, some lasted a year, whatnot. And so I just wanted to clarify exactly where I stand on this, and I'm not selling it to you. Not everybody's going to understand it. I think strange revolutionary times call for strange revolutionary thinking. I think you've got to be doing something different, and it leads me quite nicely to this house, because you'll notice we haven't done anything with it yet, the farmhouse, and I hope that if the business takes off, I'd like to renovate this into a house for Otis and Hugo, one that can be like a home base for them. They can live wherever they want in Thailand, you know, or anywhere in the world, that is. That's the village now talking. So I don't know how much my microphone's picking up, but it resonates all around the village. And so I hope this in the future, I just imagine it as like a boys' pad, like a big living room, maybe a small swimming pool or jacuzzi, upstairs 2 bedrooms, and then a giant kind of factory off the side, a big open room, maybe with like a printing farm or products and stock for any online sales. I mean, all this is just my imagination, so don't take it as like, some people think I'm planning out my kids' future. I'm not. I'm just opening up an opportunity. If the kids didn't use it for that, you know, I'd run it as an Airbnb, or I'd have family stay there or something like that. Eventually we'll get around to doing something with it. It's just not been a priority in comparison to some of the other businesses and things that I've been doing. So my idea would be for them to have that, and obviously there's no council tax on it, it's paid for, there's no rent on it or anything like that. So in other words, they have what a lot of people don't have, is time, space and freedom to do what they want to do, whether they're going to study in there and then go to university and then go off somewhere, or they're going to run a business from there, and AI is going to trash everything, so you just need a really cheap place to live and grow your own food and do a business, I guess, that AI can't do. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet. So really I'm just trying to plan for every eventuality, whichever direction they want to take. And I've told you a little bit about the 3 options for schooling. Damo and all her sisters grew up here. They went to a government school, and yet they all got degrees. Damo's got a degree in finance. Her sister's a dental surgeon. Her other sister's got a degree in something, I don't know what it is, but she works for a Japanese import-export company, and she makes very, very good money, and she owns a number of properties here and in Bangkok as well. And her other sister speaks fluent German, lives in Germany. So in other words, they're all successful. They all drive very nice cars. They've all got nice homes, and they've not become losers because they come from this area. It's not necessarily. I hear a lot, oh, your kids will never get anywhere in life, and I think, now I look at Damo's sisters and I think, well, clearly they can do whatever they want. And I think in the coming future, what probably is going to be important is land, capital, Bitcoin. I think it's going to be important for those that know me on this channel, and I think entrepreneurship and not going the standard route of necessarily like spending 3 years in university studying for something that could become obsolete. I mean, even now you see these guys that are the AI whiz kids that are programming all the AI, even they're being laid off because the AI can do their job. So it's not even good enough to just say, well, I'll train, I'll go into the field of AI, because I think it's the guys, there's some few now that are getting the big paychecks, but eventually even AI is going to be able to do that job too. I mean, I use AI for everything these days. Like, I brainstorm with AI on all kinds of topics all the time, especially with my businesses, and it really is a powerful tool, and I think it's just going to get even better, or you might say it's going to get worse. So that is my thoughts and thinking on schooling. I was asked to just to talk about it, and so I thought I'd just put this out and give you my views on what I'm doing with my kids. Not saying I'm right, but it's my plan as a dad for my kids. I think that's going to be important for the future if I sit down and meditate on what the future going to look like, that's what I think the future's going to require, is not to go into a normal career or profession. So I think you're going to have to innovate. So that's my rant on this topic. I'm sure there'll be a number of people that agree and a lot of people that disagree, but that's just my thinking on the topic. So hope you're all well and take care.